Hello friends, this is Ganesh. Hope you are doing great. Happy to learn together. In this video, we are going to learn workflow with the help of a scenario called sales order change. So while designing the sales order change workflow, we are going to learn few new things like a condition step and trigger a workflow with a condition. So previous example, we triggered a workflow for a purchase order change, but it's a wide open. We didn't add any condition there. So today we're going to add a small condition for the sales order change. And we're going to learn about a workflow container. What is the use of workflow containers? And how to populate email with a dynamic values. So my subject should be email change or email for sales order change. I need a sales order number and I need some sales order information in my body of my email. So these are the things which we are going to learn today, and this is a way which I is proposed to learn a workflow along with this scenario. Then slowly we'll learn different types of steps, different type of containers, and so on. Unfortunately, today my rental system is not working properly. Most of the transactions are getting dumped while change anything in a sales order or a purchase order or material. I tried even production order change also. I tried to show a test for this particular workflow session, but unfortunately it's not happening. I tried some changing some codes also, some breakpoint. I skipped the code, but unfortunately nothing works. So it's happening quite long, so I don't want to wait until the system's it's behaving properly. So what I'll do is I will show you how to create this particular scenario along with the conditions, workflow container, variable, and everything. Then you do the testing. Once the system is back here, I will add a small video which shows the test screens of particular workflow. Okay, so hope that works for you. When you can try your own system, you will get the results. Hope you might understand how we can able to create along with these options. Okay, let's get into the slides first. So first thing which we are going to learn is we're going to create a workflow starting condition or trigger point with the conditions, and then a small idea about what the workflow container. The container name itself, you must understand there is a place you can keep whatever you want. So here we are doing technically the workflow design. So maybe I need some variable, I need some business objects to be keep it in the workflow container. I can use it in my design time and runtime also it may be used. So those kind of details we are going to save it in the container level, and we have different types of container workflow. We'll see quite later. And a new step which we are going to learn today is condition. So previously we learned how to trigger a workflow and the email condition, email step, and today we're going to learn a condition, if condition. If the condition is true, what is the next step? If it is false, what is the next step? And how to populate the values dynamically in your email subject and body of your email. Okay. So now the next one is about the conditions. We'll see one by one. And this is the place where we triggered or we configured the business objects, especially to trigger and workflow. So previous example, we used, I think 2012 for purchase order change. Here is 2032 for sales order. And there is a button in the third column called condition. So once you click the condition button, you will get this kind of pop-up. So here, most of the things we are not going to write a code. So it's kind of a dialogue interaction mostly. So here, you have some options, operator, logical things, and you have that place to add values for your expressions and everything. And this is the place where you can able to see what are the conditions you have added to trigger a workflow. So this is coming under the container level, or you can have a system fields also based on the date, based on the user I want to get it. So those things you are able to get it over here. And by default, the container has its own elements or parameters. You can add your own also. Okay, and this is a place where you can add the condition. So this is the triggering area, and along with that, I just added two more conditions. If the sales org is 1000 and distribution channel is 20, then only trigger a workflow whenever there is a change in the sales order. Okay, and the next one is workflow container. So if you double click, if you want to create anything inside the workflow container, there is an option called create. Just double click the option, it will open a window. It has 4 different tabs. The first one is what you want to create. Either you want to create a business object, or you want to create a structure and fields, or you can create a variable which refers this particular data element, okay, or data type. And there is a properties tab which enables you what you want with what you're going to do with this particular object or data variable, whether it's import or export, or you want to make this mandatory. Those information is available under properties. Initial values, you know about that. If you want to pass any initial values, go ahead with this option. Change data is nothing but the log when this gets created, who changed it. Those information are available in the particular tab. And yeah, one more point here is SYST is a system variable by default, all the developers knows. And if you want specific system variables for a workflow, you have a structure called WFSYST. Make use of it. And by default, you will get elements for your workflow container. And the element symbol, you might understand these are changing, like import and export is a changing parameter. These are import parameter. And okay, so this is export parameter, this is import parameter, this is export parameter. Okay, so those informations are available. If you want to create your own information, just double click this create, you will get the previous window. And about the step condition, this is a symbol to add a step condition in your workflow design. And once you double click, it takes you to the different window, and here you can add what is the step name. And here before this is a condition already made it. Before condition, you say click here to add a condition. So if you click again, you will get a window. There you can add what kind of conditions you want. And if the condition is true, what is the next step? Just a name you have to give, and on top of it, you can create the next step. So if it is a true, just a name, yes, send an email. If it is a false, do nothing, kind of. And this is the email dynamic values. This is my email and email subject. So here I added a value. So here itself you can notice. So in SAP script or smart form, if you want to retrieve the value from a variable, you have to use within ampersands, right? So the same format you're going to use it. Here it's not typed it. It actually, if you select any variable from a window, it automatically form a statement like this, ampersand and the variable whatever we selected. So same thing is happening here. So here it's a little lengthy one. Don't worry about it. This is a name which I used to create a workflow container with a name. So that names here dot and what variable you want to be displayed. The sales or a document number. So this is the one. And net value is less than net value. Probably this is also one of the variable which I created in workflow container. And here email, the body, I'm going to use the value from the business object. So SOB was a business object. I can say alias name here. And this is just a variable. It's not coming under business object, just a direct variable. And this is the value which is coming under the business. I want exactly the net value of the sales order. So I'm using it. So the idea is, if you want to have any dynamic values in your email body and subject, make use of these options. And how to get it, where to get it. This is the one. This is called an expression buttons. So if you click this expression button, you will get a window. It has everything. Whatever container whatever variables or objects you created on the container, you will get it. Just go there, double click, you will get it very easily. And the binding. So binding is an important portion over here. So binding enables the visibility of your particular variable between the containers. Okay. Even without binding, the variables are visible. You can, there's once you create a variable in a container, it's available in a different containers. So okay, make it very simple. We have different containers in workflow. We have a workflow container, we have a task container, we have some more. Okay, we are going to take only these two for this scenario. What is a task container? Email is a task. Okay, so every task has its own container. Now, the value to be available between workflow container and task container, because I have created a variable which is in the workflow container, but the variable is available throughout the workflow. So in a task container also, yes, the variable is available, but not the value. So if you want the value to be available between the containers, the binding plays a major role. So if there is a binding available between the containers, yes, values are able to transfer between those. If it is no binding, no values, still you're able to access the variable. Okay. So a simple example I always prefer is create these kind of two different containers and create a variable in your workflow container, use it in your task container and remove the binding. Then see what will happen. Once you remove the binding, you know you won't get any issues, you won't get any syntax error, but you won't get the values also. This is for your understanding. So binding plays a major role between these two. Okay. So what else? Yeah, that's it. So let's get into the system and try to create the um, workflow along with all these options. I hope the system might ready, but not sure. If it is not ready, just test it from your end. Okay. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Let's get into the system. So this is a system. Let's go to SWDD. Create a new one. Save it first. CJ workflow. SO change. So this is we have already seen this place. The new thing we are going to learn from here is workflow container. So this is a place you can switch from step to workflow container. You can see the default elements and there is an option to create. If you want anything to keep it in your workflow container, do this. It will be used in your design as well as runtime. And these are the steps. It's fine. We are not going to touch this now. So first step, I'm going to create the trigger option. So go to basic settings or basic data, and it takes the same abbreviation is fine. So I'll just make this release status as released. Start events, and we are going to use the business object, and that is 2032. Okay, 2038. Let's check it out. Sales. Yeah, 2032 only. 2032, and event is going to be changed. Okay, so now the third column is condition. So start condition defined. Just click this window. You will get a window like this where you can able to see the operators, logic, and technically we call it as variable, whatever it is. Okay, just a variables. It carries the value. Based on the value only, we're going to able to create the conditions. So here you have a constants. If you want to add a parenthesis, yes, you can able to use it. And this is because of the remote system. You're not able to see both in a single screen. So whenever I'm going to select, it automatically goes down. So every time I have to use the scroll to just see whether it's happening correctly or not. By default, you can see choose the expression, operator field is empty, expression 2 is empty, and an or. These are the options. All shows as a disabled mode. It's fine now. You're not able to type it over here. So you have to double click, automatically that will be filled. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this is the what do you call business object which we added, and here I'm going to use sales organization and distribution channel for my conditions. Just double click. So every time you have to double click and come down, yes, you can see sales order dot sales order dot sales organization. It's fine. Just here operation, just click the place and just click this operation equal, make sure yes, it's done. And the next one is here expressions. So expressions, you can have another variable also. So simply I just double click this one, just ignore what is that value. Just so here you can able to use it a variable for a dynamic expressions. Okay, or if you want a constant, so make sure as a blue mark is nothing but the selected place. So clear, make sure that is a way where you're going to change the values. Okay, so keep the cursor or make sure it's a blue mark and go here. You can say S021. This is one of the sales org available here. Just enter. Make sure before going to the next step, make sure you formed the first condition perfectly. Yes, it's done. And I need an AND operator. Keep the cursor and go a little up and just come down. Yes, it's placed. So next one. So this arrow helps you. What is the next you're going to do? What? Okay. So next I'm going to use distribution channel. Distribution channel, yes. Operator is equal and place the constant as 10. So the condition is ready now. So whenever there is a change in the sales order, it will check the sales order belongs to this sales order distribution channel, then only it will allow to generate the workflow, otherwise no. So this is a basic condition along, sorry, basic step along with the condition. So continue. Okay, this needs to be added in a customizing request. Just add it. Okay, so all fine and it's in green mark, so this is active. This is done. Now save it. Okay, go to steps. So condition is ready. Now means the triggering is ready along with the condition. Now I'm going to add a step called condition. Before going to that, I want some to be created in my workflow container. One is the business object to be used, because business object I want to use it in my email. So that needs to be available in my container first. And then the variable, simple variable, I'm going to add it. Just create it. And first variable, so workflow variable, net value, net value. Okay. So this is a variable. So I'm going to use the last option for data element. So this is the data element. Okay. Continue. Okay. One more thing. I forgot. Just come here, right click. So here you can see there is no import and export because there is no arrow mark. Just click change, go to properties. So I want to import some values over here, and initial values is going to be 100. Okay, continue. Just play around. Nothing big deal. And one more thing, I want to create a business object for sales. So sales underscore BO. Sales BO. Please ignore my spellings. Business object. And here you're going to use bus 2032. Okay, and properties, I'm going to use import only and continue. Okay, so if you see, just come down. So you have two variables or work area, whatever it is. You have two elements. Technically, you have two elements in your workflow container, meaning you have two custom elements in your workflow container. So now I'm going to add a step between before creating an email. Change here, go to steps. So step name, condition, yeah, here. Add it. Yeah. Because in remote it's a little tough to just double click or right click create. So give a name. Net value check, something like that. And here you can see, click here to create a new condition. Just create it. Just click it. Similar window where you can see the operators, logical and everything. And here you have a container, your own container, and these two values are available. So just double click this value. So net value is less than, and here 250. So by default, because it has initial value, so this value is 100, 100 less than 250, yes. So I'm not just making a simple conditions. So if you want to make more dynamic, just add one more variable and values. Going forward, we can see how we can get the value outside of the workflow for this particular variable. Okay. So continue. So it shows here, what is the value? So if this value is true, so just give a name. What is that? If it is true, send email or nothing. Okay, done. So this is a task. Okay, sorry, this is not a task. I'm sorry. Okay, so the condition is ready now. This is a step. It's ready. So nothing and send email. So here just drag and drop. So email I'm going to send. Email for sales order. I need a sales order number here. So click this button and I want a sales order number, sales document here. Sales order number got changed. Okay. And in the body, the sales order. So here also you have the same expression buttons here. This is expression button. Insert expression. And I want the sales document and actual value. So what is the actual value I want? It's from the net value. So here it is, net value. Now I want to add the condition value if it is required. Okay, simply I want to add everything. That's what I'm just making one more, making kind of scenario. Say projected value. So here I want my own variable. So here net value. It's there. Save it. Okay. So continue. This is the task. So task is email ts email task email. Okay. Continue. So here the binding plays a major role. So again, one more time, go inside and go to control. Mostly the binding exists by default. Whatever you create, it already exists. This is the task container. So go here. You can see your sales BO to sales BO. So this is the workflow. This is the task. Okay. Yeah. So there is a binding available. So you can test it. Once you test this, if you get a variable, you get the email along with the sales order number and everything. Come here and remove the binding. So once you remove this binding, then test it. What happens is you will get everything, but not the sales order value because the binding between your containers, workflow and task is not available. Okay. So if you want to add a binding, this is a little painful. Okay. So here the F4 sales PO and F4 sales PO. Okay, done. Continue and continue. Like, yeah, save it. So this is the workflow. So fully, which we created it. It will. I'm activating. It's activated. So it created with the condition. There is one more condition. This you can able to add it over here, but I want to show you how the condition works. We can use this condition more going forward. And if the condition is true, there is an email. If not, nothing, and then workflow completed. Okay. Let's try to test it. Not sure whether it's working now. Let's see. V02 double-8 enter. While saving, I'm getting a dump. Let's see this 200 and change to 20. Save it. Oops. Nope. Some errors, even it's related into the standard. I'm seeing something they're trying. I don't know whether they're fixing it or still it's going in a different way. No idea. So just try this portion, just test it. Hopefully it'll work. I think I didn't miss any step. So if it is any issues, just try to just check your workflow log where it is get breaks. So you can come to know what needs to be corrected in your workflow design. Okay, so 1 minute. Yeah, condition I added, email along with the dynamic and workflow container. Yep, everything's fine. So once the system is up, I will just make a small video by quickly running this workflow with the different options in the sales order, and distribution channel, whether it's getting exactly what we are expecting as an output. So thank you so much. Play around more on this. We'll see more videos going forward. Thank you so much for your time and see you in the next video. Bye.